Welcome to Arise and Shine. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. It is a gorgeous day, and I'm telling you, this show is going to be amazing. We have the most incredible guest in here today with us. So let me just tell you a little bit, because today is about self-love. It's something that it's become a little cliche right up there with self-care, but we want to zero in today. We want to talk about it a little bit, dig deep. So if you haven't already, I ask you to please share this episode, whether you share it while you're on or you share it during the replay, because some of you are watching the replay. Please share it, because right now the atmosphere is in such a place where people really need to know, if they can't get what they need from someone else, it starts with you. You've got to love yourself. And today we have Dr. Monica DeBro, who is here from Love Yourself to Life. And I don't know if you've ever said love yourself to death. I know I have. So it's time to flip the script. It's time to love to life. Let me tell you a little bit about her, because she is amazing. And then I'm going to leave the rest to her, okay? But let me share with you. She is, well, let's start with her fruit. Let's start with what she's done, because she's transformed the lives of so many women through her writing, through her videos. I've been benefited her speaking, even in a small setting. She changes the room. She's a host. She's a keynote. She has a conference. I'll let her talk to you about the conference that she spoke at, called The Elephant in the Room, and the Love Yourself to Life conference. She also hosts an event called Always Wear Your Tiara. I like that. I need a tiara. I think I have one behind me up on the shelf. I should have put it on, Dr. Monica. But she helps women embrace the essence of who they are and not allow the past to interfere with where they're going in their future. She's a member of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, and she'll share why. And she's also an author. So what? An author, celebrated speaker, coach to many. Now she's got a television show called Love Yourself to Life on the Believe in Your Dreams network. And that's a network where it is safe television for everyone. So, without further ado, I can't say it any better and I can't do this topic any better than to have someone like Dr. Monica DeBro with me. So come on the stage, Doc, and join us. Say hello to everybody, and let's talk about love.
Good morning, Coach Tanya. Good morning, everyone who is watching us on today. I'm so excited to be a part of this episode of Arise and Shine, because when you love yourself to life, you are rising and you are shining in your purpose. You're shining in your authenticity, and everything can just go forward based on how you see yourself. And what are we talking about today? Self-love. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm honored to be here.
It is so good to have you here. I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, self-love has become cliche, right up there with self-care, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, let me go to the spa, or let me get a massage. Let me, have a glass of wine. That's like the calm side. Let me love me, right?
Right.
When you hear self-love, what do you hear? What is self-love to you?
Self-love takes me back to the scripture that says, basically, you can't love your neighbor better than you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. If I don't love myself, if I'm not treating myself the way that God intended for me to treat myself, how can I authentically love others? And it's too many times that we pour into other people. We do this and that for other people,
So
but
good.
yet we're not doing it for ourselves. we're talking negative about ourselves, but yet we're lifting everybody else up in words. We're not doing things to take care of ourselves, but we're doing things to take care of others. So it's just as me, if I go out and I take care of all the patients that I take care of, but yet I don't fulfill my cup and I don't fill my cup back up, and I don't focus on doing self-care for myself, I'm going to be drained because everybody's pulling from you, but you're not allowing yourself to be poured into.
That is so good. You have to be replenished, right? Have you always had, I know for me, my outlook on self-love hasn't always been the healthiest. Man, I was always last. And I share a lot with my story about how a lot of the health issues that I've experienced because of lack of self-love, of what you describe, putting everything and everybody ahead of me, right? Yeah, that can cause a brain aneurysm, people. It can cause two. I'm here to talk about it and tell you, when you don't pay attention to yourself and make yourself a priority, bad things happen. But, what was your outlook initially? Because your ministry is healthcare, right? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Right. So talk about a time when maybe your self-love wasn't where it needed to be. What caused your awakening?
Oh, that's a great question, Coach Tanya. My self-love didn't come out until I was well into my 40s. And that is because for years, I allowed other people to define who I was. I allowed other people to tell me what I was going to be, what I wasn't going to be. And it primarily was in relationships. And when you're in those intimate, close relationships, you may not think that it's not creating the person that you are at that moment, but it does. And it, depending on what's being said to you, how you're being treated, how you're being loved, your friend circle, all of that can have an impact on how you see yourself. So for years, I wore a mask. And it was a mask where on the outside, everything looked amazing. Everything looked great. But on the inside, I was jacked up, completely jacked up.
Come on, tell the truth.
And it took me going from being completely broken. And it's in those broken moments that now I'm thinking back that the potter was every time I cracked, he was holding on to me. Every time, a part of my vessel was shattered, God was just sitting there holding me together. And in this moment, I'm just really realizing how much his hands were holding me. And he's that true potter that holds you together and that will mend you back together. Because I was so broken that I attempted suicide. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be here on this earth. I was mentally tired. And here's my thing. A lot of times for me, when I got to that point of that attempt of suicide, I had become mentally and emotionally tired. I wasn't physically tired, because physically I could run on and see what the end is going to be. But mentally, I was like, I'm done. Whatever the end is going to be, I'm about to take care of it myself right now. But that wasn't God's plan. That was not God's plan for me.
Thank God.
And it wasn't until several years later that he just kind of gave me an awakening about that experience when I tried to take my own life. And he just kind of showed me who I was in him. And even throughout yesterday, he continues to show me who I am through him. He continues to show me that in those dark moments where I'm crying and nobody is seeing me, and it's not meant for anyone to see me. He sees it.
Right.
He knows every tear before it falls. So my awakening came after I wrote Broken Believer No More. Because here's the thing, Coach Tanya, people think that, Christians are, we don't get broken. We don't go through things. Some people, I'm not going to say everybody, some people.
Right.
And at the time, I was a pastor's wife.
Come on, tell the truth, Dr.
So that
Monica.
pastor's wife, people are looking from the outside in,
Right.
not really knowing what's going on. Okay. So I was a pastor's wife, leading, but yet broken. I was a
Yes.
pastor's wife, leading and helping others when I'm not being helped. And when I
Mm,
say I'm not being helped, I was married to a man who I'm watching pray over other people, but his wife is just broken internally, and he knows that I'm broken.
right.
But that awakening came as I was writing that book. So writing has a purpose.
Yes, it does. It's so therapeutic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Writing is
yeah.
healing.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process of me writing Broken Believer No More, I was being healed.
Praise
Then
God.
he showed me his love for me and showed me, I want you to love yourself to life. I want you to embrace who you are and take yourself on a self-love journey. And that's exactly what I did.
That's awesome. That and the courage, I would say too. First of all, I participated in a few anthologies. That was of my first experience writing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start out with my own book. That's coming soon, but I did anthologies, and I wasn't honestly I was not prepared for the experience I was going to have.
Mm.
And until you do it, you don't really realize it's therapy. You're walking through that, and you're getting self therapy, right?
Right.
So I did the anthology, and it wasn't until I did my first one that I realized I thought I had let go of that, but I really hadn't let go of it until I did that chapter about it. And I just like everything lifted off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I recognized the importance of just letting things go and writing, like you said, it's so healing.
Mm-hmm.
So doing a book and participating in an anthology was my way of shaking off the shackles and saying, you're not a failure because your business failed.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need to live what God wanted me to live and not putting labels on myself.
Right.
So sitting down and writing that book took courage. And that's the point I'm getting to with you, because people have this thing in their head about a pastor's wife and how she's supposed to be and what she's supposed to look like and how she's supposed to carry herself, and that she doesn't have any issues because she's married to a man of God, right?
We have issues.
Come on.
But see, here's the thing: people are looking at that outside persona.
Mm,
You dressed right, you carry yourself right. Let me tell you something. There are some pastors and wives that on their drive to church, they at it. And let's just be real about it. They are at it in the car, or they've been at it at the house, and they ride in silence to the church. But when they step out of that car, it smiles. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for being here.
yes.
Anybody can put that persona on.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can. But it's just so important for us to get that healing.
I put take off the mask. I meant take off the mask, right? Take
Mm-hmm.
off the mask. And that's the part that takes courage. And not only are you talking about it, but to put it in writing and share it with the world, that's a whole different kind of courage
Yes.
altogether, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
have to love yourself to rise.
Right.
You have to love yourself to stand up and
And for
let
me, that's
people
being
know.
authentic.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's being authentic, because you're not trying to sell people a bill of goods that you are something that you're not, you
Exactly.
know? Yeah, and Nicole just said, on the drive to church, wiping tears, feeling anxiety, and going through it, just like the world.
Amen. Yes.
You know
And people
that.
don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. That it's the truth. So, where do you find? And I think I might already know the answer to this, but where do you find the power to love yourself?
I'm gonna tell you, I literally find that power day to day. It's not something that you find one day and all of a sudden, okay, I got it, I'm done, I don't have to do
There
anything
you
else.
go.
No,
Yeah.
it is a day to day process. And I find that power in just knowing that today is today. I can't do anything about tomorrow, yesterday, the day before, last year, any mistakes that I made,
Mm-hmm.
whether they were decisions that I made that weren't healthy for me. And I don't mean just healthy physically. I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially,
The
all
whole
of that
package.
domain of holistic health.
Yes.
I find that power in knowing that God only wants the best for me. And even though I may be going through something right then at that moment, the key is I truly understand now what it means when it says you're going through it.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck at that place that you're
Come
at,
out.
because that's exactly what the devil wants us to do. He wants us to stay stuck in a place.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, over the past 3 weeks, I literally took my power back from depression.
Come on.
When you want to talk about when did I find that, about finding that power and that presence to love myself, it's when you keep going through something and you finally say, you know what, I'm tired of going through this like this. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of going through depression, sitting in my room crying. I'm tired of going through depression, sitting and not enjoying life. And I look up, I've wasted 2 weeks of my life sitting here not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the last time I went through a deep, deep, dark depression was July of last year. It was during the 4th of July weekend. And my sister was there, my son was there, and I did a short video about this on Facebook and posted it on Instagram last week. They were there in Orlando visiting me. We were doing a mini birthday celebration for my 50th, but I was in depression.
Mm.
I didn't realize that my son picked up on the cues because I'm trying to hide it from him, right? Put that mask
Yes.
on. My son is here. I got to be happy. I got to be joyful, but inside
Right.
I was crushing. There were nights where I would literally go sit on my balcony and just cry between midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just crying.
Wow.
And that was the last time I went through a deep, dark depression. Well, Coach Tanya, just to make this short, over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I felt that depression coming back on. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the difference. When I saw it, and as soon as I felt it coming back on, I was like, oh, no. We're not getting ready to do this. We are not getting ready to sit here in this house and we're not getting ready to cry. I started getting up. I started getting out. I would go to the beach. I went to a New Edition concert with Jodeci and Charlie Brown. So anyway, I went to a concert. I started doing things, right? And then this is what else I started doing in this. I literally just started posting videos about or reels about I'm going to live my life. I'm going to enjoy my life. And I would put the National Suicide Hotline on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I finally learned that when I'm going through, I can help somebody else and not sit there
Yes.
and what I'm going through.
Right. Because it's bigger than us.
Right.
And that's the thing. There was one sermon that I heard, Dr. Monica, I don't know if you could relate to this at all, but it stayed with me. It's radical pastor that I used to attend, Union Temple Baptist Church in Southeast DC. And he set some foundational things in my life for me that have never gone away. And one of them was that depression is selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he says, yes, I know there's chemicals involved. Yes, I know it's science and there's all of that involved in it. It's very real. Right. So we're not taking anything from that. But if you actually sit in it, you recognize the fact that it's all about you
Mm-hmm.
and everything about you and more about you. And once you break away from the about you part and make it bigger than you, it's easier to escape it. Hallelujah.
I am a living witness to that. I am telling you, I said, I'm not going to sit here in this. I'm going to help other people that's going through this too.
That's right.
And people are like, why do you keep posting about depression and suicide? Because it's happening. Why are you not talking about it?
At record levels. at record levels. Look, we laughing about Charlie Brown. Nicole said he got her through some of the most difficult times.
Yep.
You know, but you have to go outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like Judy said, it's transformational. But if you stay stuck in it, nothing transforms. Transforms is indicative of movement and change.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sit still, there is no change.
Right.
And yeah, people need to transform their mind. It's in the word, in it.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing, and part of that transforming the mind, we have to be careful of what we're listening to. We have to be careful of the people we're interacting with. And sometimes it means coming away from people and taking that time to just sit with the Father. I was reading a devotional this morning, and it said, sometimes you just need to go outside and you just need to sit and pray to God. You need to be by yourself. You need to be with the elements, hear the birds chirping, you know, so that you can get back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need to pull yourself away from scrolling. Right? Because sometimes we get to scrolling so much, we look up, and I'll tell you, sometimes a lot of times what you'll see is I'll post my scripture and I'll jump off, because I'll find that if I'm busy and I need to be doing something else, but if I stay on social media too long, it's like, okay,
it's a black hole. You get lost in it. Yes. You're right. You get lost in this black hole. You'll look up. I've done it like at midnight, like right when I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spin around and I've been in there for 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What happened? What happened?
And see, it's even worse for me because I work at night.
Right.
So on my off days, I have every intention and goal to be in bed by 10. Well, naturally, my body's used to being awake at night, because right now, Dr. Monica's ready to take a nap just because that's my norm.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And we're going to talk about self-love and transparency. I'm not normally awake in the daytime. So when I'm off, nighttime is when I wake up. And I'm like, no, body, I need you to shut down so we can go to bed. But just like you, I'll get on social media because I'm like, okay, let me just look at a couple of things, like some posts, you know, go to some people pages that
support them. Yeah.
That and other. Look up, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm getting text messages from Kuwait saying, shouldn't you be in bed? I'm like, stop watching my social media feed and go to work. But
you never know who's watching, right?
Well, he doesn't necessarily sit and watch, but he's like, Queen, you're supposed to be in bed.
Sleeping, yes. Take care of self. Yes. Yeah. We have to
watch that.
We do have to watch that. I think it's not so much all of the little things that we need to do, is also some of the, well, I'll say the big emotional things. And you mentioned one a few minutes ago, and that's separation and getting by yourself. I think somebody said it in the chat too. Dr. Clara, sometimes you just have to shut the rest of the world out and be in silence. And I think a lot of times with self-love, people are scared of what they're going to hear in the silence, so they don't do the silence because they fear what they're going to hear when it's silent. When it's they're scared of the quiet. I used to be that person. Now I love my peace.
Let me tell you, peace is everything. You're not going to disturb my peace. I was at New Birth Church, Missionary Baptist Church last night. Bishop T.D. Jakes was preaching. And he said, it was meant, when I tell you, he brought my house down. I don't know about nobody else's, but he brought my house down. But he made a statement to the point of, you can't threaten somebody who's been through hell.
Come on.
The reason why you can't threaten us is because we've been through hell, and we're not getting ready to let you take us back there, and you're not getting ready to jack up my peace.
That's right.
My peace means everything to me. And I have learned, even again, as of yesterday, people who don't bring me peace. I can be an associate with you, but I don't have to have consistent connection with you.
Right.
That's where a lot of people lose their peace, because they're trying to maintain relationships and friendships and be connected to people that don't mean you any good.
Right. And you've got to mean you good before anybody else means you good.
That part.
Hello,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sit and ask yourself, why are you doing? I've done this. Why are you doing this, Tanya? Why are you doing this? Some of them conversations in the car while I'm driving somewhere are some. I take nice long road trips. I have one coming up next week. I know I'm gonna have some serious conversations on that
Mm-hmm.
road trip.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to go. Okay, that needs to go. Father God, you want that to go? Okay, that needs to go. Right.
Right,
Okay. And
right.
you need to get better at this. They're not all, oh, you're wonderful conversations, Tanya. There are,
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, you have some stuff you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but that's part of self-love. Don't you think? Going
Exactly.
through that process of taking things apart and putting it together. What do you think?
Absolutely, because here's the thing: if we don't take things apart and see how they're supposed to be, you find yourself on a Ferris wheel, or as
Mhm.
I heard, even better, you find yourself in a rocking chair. Okay,
Oh,
because a Ferris wheel, you do go up and you see new heights, and then you come back down, and then you go
mhm.
back up and you see new heights, and you may see something that you didn't see before, right? But you
Yeah.
still gonna get off at the same place you got on at. Only thing you've done
Yes.
is go around in a circle, right?
That's so good. I
But I
love
heard
that.
somebody else say that it's the same as being in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do,
Hmm.
right? So if you got a situation that you're not dealing with and you're just sitting in the rocking chair, you got a frustration that you're not dealing with,
You
you got
got
a
me rocking
person,
over here.
right? Yes, I'm sure some viewers are rocking too. You got a person that you need to deal with, but you haven't dealt with that person. It's an issue on your job that if you just have a one-on-one conversation, you sitting in that rocking chair, it's giving you
Yes.
something to do.
Yes.
You running that thought over and over and over in your mind. You keep going in circles with that person in that relationship. But when you get out of that rocking chair, you've done something,
Right.
but the situation is still sitting there.
Yes. Wow.
Insanity, doing the same thing over and
Over
over
and
and over
over and
again,
expecting
expecting different
some.
results. So
Yes.
if you want change in your life, if you want change in your mind, if you want change in your environment, if you want change in the love that you're going to receive, if you want change among your children, this is the one that gets me. If you want change among your children, be careful of the words that you say about your
Come
children.
on now.
If you want change in your spouse, be careful of the words you say about your spouse, because you can't speak
Yes.
negative and then think they're supposed to be this wonderful person. It doesn't work that way. Life
Hmm.
and death is in the power of the tongue, and we have to be careful of the words that we say out of our mouth.
So true. Because, when people, I'm big on legacy. And when people think of legacy right away, they think about, oh, well, I got to leave my kids money. I got to leave them
Mhm.
a house. How about you leave them character? How about you leave them,
Mhm.
this is what mama and them would have done. This is how I'm gonna live my life. How about you leave them standards of
Right.
excellence, right?
Morals and character.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
So yeah, legacy is important, but it's not always material.
No.
And a legacy of self-love, come on.
Right. Because here's the thing, we can leave them financial legacy all we want to, but if we have not taught them how to deal with their finances, they're going to run through that money before 6 months is up after you gone.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the
So we
truth.
have to be careful of, like you said, the legacy that we leave.
Yeah. And so powerful what you said. Even Denise chimed in talking about the power of the tongue,
Mm-hmm.
because it's funny, a little 3 or 4-year-old will say something cute probably that they shouldn't have said, right? But
Right.
we're like, oh, look how adorable is that. But mind you, they shouldn't be speaking those things.
Exactly.
Where did they get it?
Shouldn't be
Yes,
speaking it, shouldn't be watching it on TV, shouldn't be doing all the like you said, Big Mama them would have been like, what we doing? No, we not. You'd
that's right.
find yourself somewhere over there laying down when she got through whipping you because of what you did.
Yeah, it is. It's perpetual. So the groundwork that you lay and how you process stuff, even for you being as transparent as you were just a few minutes ago to share the journey that you've been on the past few weeks, right? You're a
Mm-hmm.
healer. You help bring new life onto the planet, right? And yet
Mm-hmm.
you are okay to say, you know what, I was sitting in my own tears and mess, just trying to sort stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Your son hears that and says, wow, mom. And she came through on the other side. She's willing to say she was trying to hold it together for me, but she processed it and
Right.
she figured out what to do with it. That teaches him more as a mother to a son than you hiding it and making like everything's fine and okey doke.
Right.
You know?
Both of my sons know the transparency of their mom. So, uh, and one of them told me, Mom, as soon as I think you have reached the highest level you can go, I look up, you're doing something else. He's like, and he says, I love it. He said, every time I look up, you're doing something new. And it's just trying to keep up. And a lot of times I don't even tell them something new is coming out. They unfortunately find out on social media.
Yeah, right.
Because
Well,
it's
your
something.
schedule doesn't allow for much other than that too, because you're so busy. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, and then sometimes it's things that we think is something small. Our
Mhm.
children see it as something huge,
Yeah.
right? So, and that takes me back to the thought of when you're doing self-love, you celebrate each milestone. You
Mhm.
celebrate each thing that you've worked through. You know, we spend so much time, like I said, celebrating others that
Yeah.
it's important for us to celebrate ourselves. You know, I tell people all the time, you're running, 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 running. When are you going to sit down and take care of you? Because if being in healthcare, I have seen people who do this, that, and the other, you know, people in my family, they're always taking care of other people, other families, then their body gets run down.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not self love. Self love is not taking care of everybody else and you're struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, or whatever. You have to take time to rest your body. Again, that means disconnecting for some people because they're on the computers all the time. They're doing this
Yes.
and the other. Take some time to break away. I have a friend, Nadine in Phoenix. She takes a Sabbath every week, and it's
Mm.
not always on Sunday, but she takes a Sabbath where she doesn't do anything electronically. It's just her and God and her worship and all that until 5 o'clock in the afternoon
Mhm.
or 5 o'clock in the evening. And then she, you know, goes into whatever it is she has planned for the day. But she takes a Sabbath every week.
Yes. Yes. You have to take that time. Here it's the crazy part about it because we constantly it's almost like there's this secret organization that gives out awards for all the selfless acts that you could do, right?
Mm-hmm,
For
mm-hmm.
everybody else. And if that's the case, our walls would be full of those plaques, especially as women, because, you know, we're the nurturers a lot of times. Shout out to all the single dads out there that are holding it down too,
Right.
right? Or they stay home and the wife works, but women are natural nurturers. So we believe that, this invisible plaque is hanging because we're going to do this for you. We're going to make sure this is done, this and this and this and this. I will honestly say I can speak for the one of the people, the benefactors of that type of thinking, that I am much happier when you're okay. I much
Mm-hmm.
rather have you than all the stuff that you want to do for me.
Right.
I
Yes.
much rather have you here, happy, rested in your right mind, praising God,
Mm-hmm.
than exhausted, broke down, unhealthy, and crying for Jesus to heal you because you
Right.
done ran yourself into the ground. I want that other you, you know,
The
because you're,
important part of that is we have to nurture ourselves, right?
yes,
That is good. Miss Judy put on there some you time. Absolutely. You
yeah,
know, all the material things in the world are not going to benefit me if I don't have you.
yes, that's so good. That's so good because I mean, when you think about it, it's those people that God has blessed you to have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, the truth hurts,
Right.
but you have to have people in your life that are going to tell you the truth. Sis, you need to stop for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop and take some time for yourself, you know? Um,
Right.
because I really want you. I remember saying that as a little girl to my dad because he was, I mean, Jamaican Panamanian. You know, he had about 15 jobs and he was always running,
Mm-hmm.
right? Daddy, can you just chill out for a minute? Can you, are you coming home early? Or, you know, we want to see you. We don't care about the money.
Right.
We just want you. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then, he left way too soon because of health crisis. He was gone at
Mm-hmm.
52,
Wow.
and we've got to take care of self and love ourselves so that we can love others.
Right.
Right? It starts with you.
Absolutely.
It does. So talk about the show. I'm excited for you with the show because this whole premise of love yourself to life, you're bringing people on or you're speaking. Tell us about the format of the show. It's on 7 p.m. What night? Wednesday or
Sunday nights.
Sunday night? Okay.
Yes, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Love Yourself to Life on the Believe in Your Dreams television network with our CEO, Dr. Nicole Peters. And Love Yourself to Life, I will have different guests on who talk about either issues or struggles that they've gone through. I have male as well as female guests on, and they're going to talk about resilience, talk about how they are helping other people in their daily walk with life, whether it's personal, whether it's professional. I have one guest who's on who had a child who was killed, and how they went through that process. So it is a variety of guest speakers, coaches that are on there. And so I would encourage everyone to come on, watch the television show, subscribe. It will be on Sundays at 7 p.m. because there's going to be a variety of topics.
Yeah. Yeah.
To help you from a business standpoint, personal standpoint. If you're struggling through something, somebody's going to be on there as one of my guests to help you get through what it is that you're going through. And on a couple of them, I'm speaking by myself. So you'll get some enlightenment then on, about your tiara.
That's
What
right.
happened to your tiara? Where is your tiara? And what's going on with that? What happens when your tiara is crooked? Do you have a team of queens there or kings to help you get that
Straighten
tiara
it
back
out.
on straight? And this just came to me. When your tiara is crooked and you're not going down the path that you're supposed to be going to, and you get a king or a queen that tries to help straighten up that crown,
Oh, you better come on,
straighten
Dr.
up that
Monica. I know
tiara.
where you going.
If you're not willing to receive
Mm.
that tiara you think is on straight because you think
Mm.
you're doing something right, it's going to stay crooked. So we
Yes.
have to be able to and ready to receive.
Yes.
In order for when that
Yes,
person
Keisha.
comes and your tiara is crooked and they try to help you straighten that thing back up, to
You
be
have to
ready
be
to
open.
receive, yes, and stand in the person that you're wanting to embody, the person that you are. But we
Yes.
have to be able to receive that correction. And sometimes people just aren't ready to receive it.
Yeah. That is so good. That girl, we could do a whole show on that topic.
Come on,
Right?
we both got tiaras. I just got
That's
to get to
right.
the house
We
and
could
get
do.
mine. Because we both got our tiaras. We can come back on here and talk about that.
Yeah, we can. We definitely should do that. Matter of fact, Keisha might want to join us because she said she would love to come on your show.
Okay.
So Keisha, you need to hit her on the back, as we say in Clubhouse, on the back channel, but send her a messenger and I'm sure she'll connect with you. I mean, the thing is, we all have a story and you will learn to love yourself more from somebody else's story. Isn't that
Right.
crazy?
Yes.
You
Yes.
will hear somebody else's story and go, whoa, man, I need to take care of myself better.
Right.
And I need to make this change. I mean, have you ever had an epiphany like that? Dr. Nicole, Dr. Monica, talking
You
about
can call
Dr.
me
Nicole.
Dr. Nicole because she making
We
all
talk
kinds
about the
of
show. I got her on the brain. Yes.
Listen, if you're gonna call me somebody that's excellent and working in excellence and that praises God and does not mind. So you call me Dr. Nicole all day, every day.
Okay.
But anyway, I have where, and here's the thing. In answering this question, it's okay to watch somebody else as long as what you're watching is helping to improve where you are in your life.
Right.
As long
Very
as it
good
is helping you to
direction.
recognize that's not a healthy behavior that I have. I don't really think healthy about myself. But what she just said helps me to realize I need to make some mental adjustments.
That's right. That's right.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So as
Yeah.
I'm thinking about myself, I can't say, Coach Tanya, you are an amazing woman. You're beautiful. I love your makeup. I love the way you help other people. I love interacting with you because when I interact with you, you build me up. You're such a positive person. And, I can't give you all these accolades and then say, I'm so stupid. I'm just ugly. I can't wear
No.
makeup. I'm not a benefit to anybody. Nobody's listening to me. Only one person
Mm-mm.
liked my post, this, that, and the other. I can't give you all of those accolades and come back and talk negative about myself,
No. And
right?
experiencing that with someone else, you shouldn't even be capable of doing that to yourself because
Right.
they built you to a point where you're just excited. When you do that, you're playing that comparison
Mm-hmm.
and compete game, and you trying to psych yourself out to think you're not comparing and competing, but
Right.
you really are.
That part. So it's okay to watch somebody as long as you're watching them, you're not becoming envious.
Yes.
You're not wanting what they have, but
Right.
you're learning and you're growing within yourself. Because here's the thing, I can't learn and grow within myself if I'm only paying attention to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I got
Yeah.
to pay attention to myself, but I also have to learn from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Pastors have pastors, coaches have coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
We have to have authentic friends around us that when they see us going down a fireball tunnel and we're going down that tunnel fast, that they say, "Hold up, Monica, let me pull your coat string because I don't know what you're doing, but I know what you're doing, but it's not good for you."
Exactly.
Right?
Keisha
So
and I said it at the same time. Exactly.
right. So but when they pull on that coach string, you got to be willing to get pulled back and not cut it and say, "Leave me alone. I got this." Then when you find yourself down at the bottom of that funnel, stuck because you're too big to get through and you can't, you're trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
get out of it. Now you want to call on people to help you. Well, they were trying to help you before you got to that point.
Right. And they were real enough to step to you and try and help you out. But like you said before, though, you've got to be open and ready to receive the correction,
That is
you
it.
know, and all of us need correction. It helps us to love ourselves better because if you
Mm-hmm.
take correction, you're improving,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you
Right.
like the package that you're coming up with. That's the thing right there. You get better. I like how you said you watch somebody, but you've got to grow from that.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
should be growth. They should be stretching you and making you better,
Right.
not making you
Right.
feel less than, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's powerful. That really is powerful. So, the show, what in the world? Here's a question for you. What in the world made you think that you could have a TV show, right? And that people was going to listen and come and watch what Dr. Monica and her people had to say. I mean, talk about confidence. Talk to me, Doc.
I'm still wondering that because anybody will tell you
Yes.
I love being behind the camera.
Right.
I'm not one who likes to be in front of the camera. I just like to, I'm a supporter, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like to be behind the camera, behind the scenes, supporting, supporting, supporting. So when I was approached to have a TV show, I did it out of support. Again, out of support for the person who came on and asked me. And it was literally a process
Mm.
of inviting people to be on the show, figuring out what I wanted to do. The episodes that I did where I was by myself, Coach Tanya, it took me probably 4 days to get the one episode together to do. Right.
Yes. Yeah, I
So
believe that.
right. So right now I'm stepping out on faith and trusting God that He's going to bring the people to subscribe to the show, that
Right.
once it launches off,
Uh-huh.
and I continue to post about it, that people will subscribe to the show, that people will want to come on and join and watch, and support Love Yourself to Life and support what I have to offer for them. So if you would have told me years ago, one, that I was going to write a book, I would have been like, never
Well,
mind. I
right.
love watching. I love journaling, but writing a book, yeah, I'm not going to do it. But writing that book was my release. If you would have told me that I was going to have a TV show on the platforms that we're getting ready to have shows on, I would have been like, nope, that's not me. But
Right.
we never know the direction that God is taking us in, right?
Yes.
So we
Keisha
have
just
to,
said it. Let him use you. Right.
mhm, we have to step out on faith
Mm-hmm.
and trust that what he is directing us to and how he's directing us, the quote just came to mind is God would never leave you to a place for you to fail.
Mm-mm.
Right? But we have to do our part in making sure that we're doing what he's called us to do as well.
I
And
love
I'm
that.
excited about this network because it's uplifting shows, right?
Yeah.
You can come on here, you can watch these shows with your children and nobody gets offended.
Right. Yeah. Where you use your gifts is important.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? That goes back to self-love too, because if you care about yourself,
Right.
right, it matters to you where you drop your gifts.
Exactly.
And you let God use you, but you want to make sure you're being used in accordance to where he wants you to be.
Mm-hmm. That's
Right.
important. Yeah, that's important because we have to stay in our lane.
Mm.
Self-love is staying in your lane. Okay. I can't come on here and tell you, which I did it one day. I did a video one day talking about mental health. It got this many views. I did a video 2 days later saying let me teach you how to make 6 figures in 6 months or something like that. It got more views. Now, here's the thing. That's not my lane.
Come on.
But more people watch that video because we're more concerned about how I can make 6 figures in 6 months than I am about taking care of my mental health. You can make all the money in the world, but if your mind is jacked up.
Come on. That is so good.
More people watch that
Lily
video.
said, wow, self-love is staying in your lane.
Staying in your lane.
That is a wow statement. I've never heard anybody say it like that before, but it's true.
Yeah. I can't teach you how to make 6 figures in 6 months because I haven't made 6 figures in 6 months, but God be the glory, bring it on.
Yes. Yes. But the other part about it, Keisha said that part, you better talk about it. The other part about that is, you have to be true, staying in your lane,
Mm-hmm.
to yourself. Now,
Exactly.
that one person that watched that live might be the one person that God wanted to get to,
mm-hmm,
and used you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But we get so caught up in, we got 18,000 followers. I have 90 something thousand followers and da 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 da. Okay, that's great. What have you done for God lately?
Right. That's only what you do for God will last. I heard that all the time growing up. Didn't catch it until I was late in my 40s.
Yeah.
That only what you do for God will last.
That's right.
But thank God I got it. And I took hold of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very important lesson to learn, unfortunately. And I think this new generation is changing things up some because they don't have no time for no foolishness. They want to, I think my sister was saying this morning, they want to go on a trip. She spins around and they on the flight already. They out of town before Friday. Meanwhile, we trying to figure out an itinerary and all that. And they're done with that. Show me and shut up. Let's go.
Listen, I'm with that generation on that. My friends will tell you, I literally have been talking to people on the phone one day and posting pictures in another country the very next day. And they're like, I literally just talked to you on the phone. I'm that get up and go. That's part of my self-love. So we're going to talk about self-love, Coach Tanya. We have to talk about doing things that we enjoy in life without waiting on other people.
Yes,
right? I take myself on dates, even though I have a man. Let's just put it that way.
I love that.
He's in Kuwait.
On dates.
I take myself on dates.
Yes.
And he's okay with that. Right? He'll catch me every once in a while because I'll do a video that says, single ladies, we're going out tonight. And he's like, you're not single. I'm like, I know I'm not single. Then he said, I'm just playing. I know that you do this to encourage other women to get out, but I take myself on dates. I take myself on purposeful dates. I don't just go to the movies, which I haven't been to the movies since COVID, but I don't just take myself to the movies or take myself out randomly to dinner. I purposefully plan. I make reservations. I get dressed up. And sometimes I get dressed up in a little evening gown and take myself out.
Come on.
I take myself to concerts. I went to the New Edition concert by myself. Listen. And he asked me, he said, so who are you going to the concert with? I was like, me. He said, oh, I forgot who I'm dating. You do that. Right. Take yourself on vacation.
I was just talking about that earlier. That's one of my favorite vacations I ever did was a me-cation to Mexico.
I went to London and Paris on my first solo vacation and loved it, and I continue to love it. So yes, do you enjoy your life? Don't wait on other people, because if you wait on other people, you'll look up and it's 365 days later and they still talking about I want to go.
Okay, let's be real. Let's say it's 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're gonna look up and it's 2032 and you're like, what happened?
Right.
Because it's Easter tomorrow and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
January was just here. So time is too short. You got to move.
Absolutely.
You got to move. I love it.
Keisha said she went to New Edition by herself. Yes, ma'am. She said it's always about letting you love yourself. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am, Miss Keisha. To keep taking yourself on dates. Keep taking yourself out to enjoy yourself and love yourself to life. And then earlier, Miss Judy posted, she typed down there, do you want what other people have or do you want what God has for you?
Come on. I saw that. Yes.
We have to be careful with that of looking at people's, I call it the stained glass window syndrome, Coach Tanya, where we're looking at people's lives from the outside in.
Yeah.
So you're looking at this beautiful stained glass window.
That's good.
Right?
Yes.
But then if you were to go inside of that person's life, if you were to go inside of that person's and they close that door, you'll see that that's not a beautiful stained glass window. It is cracked glass. And this person has put different colors of masking tape up there just to keep their life together.
You got to come on, Dr. Monica. So you teaching now. That's the process.
We have to be careful and not want somebody else's life compared to what we see on social media.
That's good.
Compared to what we see, how we see them come out in public. You have no idea what's going on with that person, not just inside of their door, but in their mind.
Come on. And that's in their emotions too. Yes.
We have to be careful of those things, Coach Tanya.
Yeah, that was so good because we're always trying to escape that part that you talked about. I have this post that I put up for confidence and it's a stained glass window, right? And how beautiful it is and how we're God's masterpiece. But there was work that went into that.
Right.
That what you described, putting those broken to make a mosaic. A mosaic turns out to be so beautiful, but it is put together by a bunch of broken pieces.
Right.
And we're trying to escape our broken pieces by comparing ourselves or becoming somebody else that we think, oh, they're so shiny and pretty. Right. They had to go through a process too. Absolutely. To get to that point, they had to go through a process as well. So that makes no sense for you to do that.
Right. So you said that going through a process, that's very good. People look at my life and they say, ooh, I want to be like you when I grow up. It's like, you have no idea what I had to go through to get to this point that I'm at right now. So be careful saying, yes, I want what you got, or you do not know what that person went through to get to where they are at that point.
That's so powerful. And it's so true. I'm so super excited about what's to come for you.
Thank you.
I get the pleasure of attending other meetings with you. And when you open your mouth, I always stop because I know something's about to come out. But you are always doing like 50 million. I'm sure there's a baby popping out right behind you somewhere. And you're right.
It will be tonight in the next 4 days when I go to work.
But I love the spirit that you come with. So I know your show is going to be so very successful. You're going to have to come back and let us know about all the amazing things that happen. And, any other projects that you have coming out in the future. I definitely want to have you back.
Thank you. We got to come back and do our tiaras.
Yes, we should.
Matter of fact, I'm going to get your email. I'm going to get your mailing address and mail you a tiara. So we have on matching tiaras.
That'll work.
And we're going to rock a show helping these women to embrace the essence of who they are and not allow their past to interfere with their present or their future. We're going to rock it for them, Coach
That
Tanya.
sounds real good. That sounds real good. Because that's an event that you did, right? Or you still do it every pre-COVID?
I haven't done it since COVID, but it is an event that I do. Always wear your tiara. And then also the elephant in the room, discussing those topics that are often avoided, but absolutely necessary to discuss, such as depression, domestic violence, thoughts of suicide, those mental, emotional well-being issues. So once I get settled and situated in whatever state I'm going to be living in, then, because right now I'm doing travel nursing, so I'm kind of all over the place. But once I get settled in a spot, then I'm going to bring both of those back.
Well, do me a favor before we're going to wrap up, but before we do that, I want you to share where people can find you. At least Facebook and Instagram handles, if anything. And then I'm just going to share a little bit of a video on our way out. Any final words too?
Thank you, Coach Tanya, for having me here on your platform. It has been an honor. It has been fun, transparent, authentic, all of that. So I have absolutely enjoyed this time with you. Whoever's watching this, love yourself unconditionally. Don't put any bootstraps on you that are not yours to put on. Fulfill your own shoes, seek out your own destiny, and continue to grow into the person that you're created to be, and not the person that somebody else was created to be. Whether you're single or married, take yourself out on a date, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, find out what you like, because too many times we get caught up in other people. Find out what you like and love yourself to life. You can reach me at LinkedIn, Dr. Monica L. DeBro. Facebook is Monica DeBro, and Instagram is DeBro Monica. So you can find me on any of those platforms. My website is loveyourselftolife.co. So .co, not .com.
All right. I put those in the chat so people will be able to connect with you. And I thank you once again. I'm going to go ahead and play this video for you guys because, I'm a little partial to her. I adore her, but there's just a few other folks that when they found out she was doing her show and all of that they've experienced her firsthand. So we're really excited about it. So here's some information about the show. Thanks again, Dr. Monica.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, sweetie. You have a blessed day. And I'll see you all soon. Remember to share this broadcast so you can change someone's life.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, Dr. Monica.